Good evening. Now is the time and place for the May 10th, 2010 meeting of the Board of Trustees held here on the second floor of Village Hall. Public notice of the time and place of this meeting having been given and posted. I now call the meeting to order. Trustee Siri.
Whereas members of this board present at the meeting have read the official minutes of the Board of Trustees regular meeting dated April 26, 2010. Now therefore be resolved this board approves the minutes as in the official minutes. Be it further resolved the reading of the minutes dispensed with.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Reports.
We have two reports for tonight. One, the Fredonia Fire Department report for the month of April 2010. We had a total of 115 calls, of which 81 were rescue and AMS, 15 false alarms and false calls, 6 service calls, 5 good intent, 6 fires. And that's the Fire Department report.
Received and filed. Any other reports?
We have the Village Justice Court report for April 2010. There were a total of 200 cases, $22,674 collected in fees, 83 vehicle and traffic, criminal cases 59, 30 village ordinance, 8 civil, and 20 ABC.
Received and filed. Any other reports?
That's it for reports.
Correspondence.
A letter dated April 25th, 2010 from David R. Root, DCPT, thanking the Fredonia Police Department for their help and support during the Earth Day Duathlon that was held on April 18th, 2010.
Received and filed. Any others?
Correspondence was received from Roger A. Volk, Secretary of the Fredonia Fire Department, Fire Police, to transfer the name of David Jamberone from the active role to the honor roll effective immediately.
Be it resolved that David Jambrone is hereby transferred from the active role to the honor roll, effective immediately.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Correspondence was received from the Secretary of the Fredonia Volunteer Fire Department to transfer the name of Brian Ardillo from the active role to the honor roll with the J.S. Lambert Hook and Ladder Company effective immediately.
Be it resolved that the name of Brian Ardillo of Dunkirk, New York is hereby transferred from the active role to the honor roll with the J.S. Lambert Hook and Ladder Company effective immediately.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Correspondence was received from John Weidenhofer, Secretary of the Fredonia Volunteer Fire Department, to add the name of James Harrington to the active role with the Fenner Hose Company effective immediately.
Be it resolved that the name of James Harrington of Fredonia is hereby added to the active role with the M.M. Fenner Hose Company effective immediately.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Excuse me.
Correspondence was received from Roger A. Volk, Secretary of the Fredonia Fire Police, to add the name of Greg List, Jr. to the active role with the Fredonia Fire Police effective immediately.
Be it resolved that the name of Greg List, Jr. of Fredonia is hereby added to the active role with Fredonia Fire Police effective immediately.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Correspondence was received from the Secretary of the Fredonia Volunteer Fire Department to add the name of Randall Barnett to the active role with the J.S. Lambert Hook and Ladder Company effective immediately.
Be it resolved that the name of Randall Barnett, 29 Wilson Street, Dunkirk, is hereby added to the active roll with the J.S. Lambert Hook and Ladder Company effective immediately.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Correspondence dated May 5th, 2010 was received from E. Lawrence Barter, Recording Secretary of the Fredonia Volunteer Fire Department, advising they held their annual meeting and the members approved the attached list of expected duties and operations for the coming year.
Okay. Received, as we've said, we're going to check to see if standby operations are included. Sam, once we have that, I'd like to make sure we get that over to our general liability carrier or our agent so we can send it to both carriers, Selective and, I forget the name of the other company right now. Summit Risk, as well as the county to make sure to have the coverage for workers' volunteer firemen's compensation law, and make sure we're covered on all those. Any other correspondence?
That's it for correspondence.
Now is the time and place for the public portion of the meeting. I know that we had originally in our resolution indicated that we would ask for people from Forest Place. So what I'd like to do is start with Forest Place, and then I understand there's some people from Ryan, and then we'll go into public portion on any topic. That way we're not jumping back and forth on the parking issue. So if we could start with anyone here that wishes to address parking on Forest Place. Please stand and state your name.
My name is Joyce Haynes. I live at 30 Forest Place in the Village, and I've lived in my home for 40 years. I know some of my neighbors were unable to attend tonight, but are in agreement with what I'm saying. I think that a proposal has been made for a ban of parking on the street, of which I'm totally against, and they are as well. I believe there would be alternate solutions to alleviate any congestion on the street. I feel that personally I would have a difficult time in the winter. It's difficult now just coming up a steep driveway, and to have to go back and forth would even make it slicker, just to go down for a few minutes and come back out and shop, etc. I just feel that I shouldn't have to go down a steep driveway to unload, and I would like to be able to continue parking out front to unload groceries, etc. on ground level, as I've done in the past 40 years. I belong in several community groups, and I am requested to host, and therefore I have members that park on the street, namely a church group, a catch club, a Shakespeare club, etc. And they need a place to park, to come to my house when I host. I can't really do a pickup and drop off in the driveway because it's a shared drive, so I can't park at the end of the drive. I would have to go down that steep driveway each time. And I feel it would devalue my property for further purchase. Thank you.
I have a question for you. What do you think would be like an alternate solution so that we could avoid some of the congestion down there, but also allow people to park?
When I first moved in, there was a parking ban on the street. And probably for 15, 20 of the years I was there, there was no parking from 9 p.m. until 6 a.m. And while that may not address the issue during the day, it certainly did alleviate parking at night. And that was year-round. It wasn't just for snow plows, etc. But it did help.
Sure.
I have a quick question. What do you think most of the residents would feel if that street was maybe a one-way instead of a...
I'm sorry, I can't hear.
What do you feel if most of the residents would consider if that street was maybe a one-way instead of a two-way street?
Well, that's a possible solution.
That's something that's been thrown around, is making it one way, because then you could keep the parking and you'd solve the problem of the congestion.
Yeah.
Right?
In and out.
Yeah, I'd have to agree that that is a solution, possibility. There's also, you could have 2-hour parking during the day.
Sure.
Signs for 2 hours. That might be a possibility.
Thank you for coming in
I
today.
appreciate it.
There could be a permit for the year-round residents
Yeah.
Sure.
to park.
Right?
So there's some solutions offered.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
One of the concerns we've had, though, is, oh, you can have a seat. I'll try to talk louder.
Okay,
Have
sorry,
a seat.
sorry.
One of the things we also kicked around, and we were looking at either some restrictions on the parking, one-way street, trying to find some way, and I think some of the proposals you've talked about and some of the things that used to happen in the past will certainly alleviate it at night. Our biggest concern is being able to get equipment down that street in an emergency. And that's the thing we're trying to come up with an answer for, is how do we guarantee that we're going to be able to get vehicles where we need to with the parking that's there, whether it's 9 to 6 or not allowed overnight, or even 2-hour or with permit. We're really trying to find a way that we know we can get vehicles up and down that street in an emergency.
I understand, and also understand that there are other streets in the village with the same problem.
Yep.
So
There are.
I agree.
it seems to me you'd have to look at several streets for that same reason.